Next on Worcester News tonight, a solemn day in the city. The Worcester Fire Department mourns the loss of one of their own. Plus, a Paxton man is now facing a murder charge in the death of his brother. The new details we are learning tonight. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Schaefer. The Worcester Fire Department mourning the loss of one of their brothers Monday. Worcester firefighter Christopher Roy died after battling a multi-alarm fire early Sunday morning. The 36-year-old was rushed to the hospital, but his injuries were too severe. And tonight, an entire community is remembering him. Our Cam Jandro joins us live now from the Alfred Roy Funeral Home. Cam?
Yeah, Brittany, just a few hours ago, the body of fallen Worcester firefighter Christopher Roy left the city of Boston. He then drove past the Webster Square fire station where he was stationed, and they made the final stop here at Alfred Roy and Sons Funeral Home. For the past few days for the Worcester Fire Department have been extremely difficult as they say goodbye to yet another one of their brothers in the month of December.
The body of fallen Worcester firefighter Christopher Roy returns home to the city.
We're just happy that we have our brother home now.
First responders salute Roy moments after a hearse pulls up to Alfred Roy and Sons Funeral Home. Deputy Fire Chief Martin Dyer remembers Roy for his love of the job.
It was just evident teaching him that he just, this was everything he wanted to be, and he did it so well. He was a great firefighter, and we really appreciate his service and his sacrifice.
People and businesses showed their support across the city Monday, like this sign outside of Barrow's Hardware. The Worcester Bravehearts also launched the Good Jake Fund for Roy's daughter.
But let's do something that will make a difference. And so we immediately thought of his daughter.
The team also says an anonymous Braveheart supporter has pledged to match donations up to $5,000.
Even if we can raise enough money to pay for her first semester of school, let's say, I think when you have concrete goals like that, you can put together something that is meaningful and make a difference in the community.
Black bunting lines the Webster Square fire station to honor the fallen firefighter. After tragically losing one of their brothers, the Worcester Fire Department is thankful for its city.
We've had a lot of support from the community, and we really want to thank the community. Citizens of Worcester have come out for us several times in the past, and once again they've come out for us again.
Now, if you're looking to donate, there is a link to the GoFundMe page on the website of the Worcester Bravehearts. General Manager Dave Peterson saying all of the money they raise will be given to the local 1009 Memorial Fund they created for his daughter, Ava Roy. 36-year-old Christopher Roy will be buried later this week. We're live in Worcester tonight. I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
A community is paying its respects to a fallen hero. Former firefighters and a young boy were among those who visited the Webster Square fire station Monday. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
Somber moments Monday morning as Worcester Fire and police escort the body of firefighter Christopher Roy to the medical examiner's office in Boston. The 36-year-old died Sunday morning while battling a 5-alarm fire at this Lowell Street apartment home. Roy was among a group of firefighters trapped on the second floor.
Every person on the fire ground gave 110% to try and rescue the firefighters who were in danger.
Firefighter Roy leaves behind a young daughter. He was a 2.5-year veteran of the department.
All Worcester's hurting today. Our hearts are breaking.
Roy served on Ladder 4 at Webster Square Fire Station. It has become a memorial site. People from all over the state and of all ages came to pay their respects, including 2.5-year-old Sammy, who salutes dressed as a firefighter.
He know a lot of firemen. He know a lot of them. We come by salute.
Retired Boston firefighter Daryl Smith stopped by to salute Ladder 4. He says the firefighter brotherhood is like no other.
It's like losing a family member. So any loss of one firefighter is a family loss.
The tragedy comes one day after the 7-year anniversary of Worcester firefighter John Davies' death, and 19 years since 6 Worcester firefighters died battling a warehouse fire. People in Worcester are left with heavy hearts, remembering those who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
We've had enough. We don't need any more firefighters to pass.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
We are also learning more about funeral arrangements. Calling hours will be held at St. John's Catholic Church in Worcester on Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. The funeral service will be held at the same church on Saturday at 10 a.m. Immediately following the ceremony, Roy will be buried at Notre Dame Cemetery. Meanwhile, a memorial fund has been established by Worcester Firefighters IAFF Local 1009 in the name of the firefighter Roy's young daughter, Ava. Checks may be made payable to the Ava Roy Fund and mailed directly to the Worcester Fire Department Credit Union. Memorials and fundraisers are growing not only for Roy's family, but the families displaced from the apartment building on Lowell Street. Many of those impacted were students in the Worcester Public Schools, and one local organization is working to make sure they have more than just the clothes on their backs. Our Gretchen LaRosa has the story.
It's a tragedy for not only the city, the community, the firefighters themselves. Can't say it without crying, so it's just devastating.
Donations are pouring in at South High for the victims of the Lowell Street fire. Student volunteers are doing all they can to help families who lost their homes and were impacted by the tragedy.
It's a lot more bags than we expected, but it's awesome to be able to have this opportunity to give back and to help those in need.
The Worcester Fire Department lost one of their own fighting the fire, 36-year-old Christopher Roy of Shrewsbury. The fire also displaced families with children, some of them South High students.
And when we found out it was students from South High and Sullivan, our first reaction was to make sure that we had enough clothes and different things for them to be able to survive.
The students who volunteer at Andy's Attic at South High are taking the donations. Andy's Attic is a non-profit organization created in memory of Andrew Reese, who died in a car accident in 2010. A Facebook post went up hours after the fire on Sunday, and within 24 hours, donations have flooded the halls of South High.
They said this will help their cause with the fire because they're overwhelmed. There's 21 school-age children that were displaced with the fire, and we had a woman make a whole bin of homemade hats and everything else. So there's a lot of good things that are going to go around.
Students sorted out and put the donated items on their shelves. They filled orders, wrote thank you cards, and made phone calls to organizations to let them know the orders were ready for pickup. More bags than usual were stuffed and ready to be sent out today.
Today we've received so many amazing donations to fulfill those dreams of giving back to those families.
The multifamily home on Lowell Street has 6 apartments in the building. The Red Cross of Central Massachusetts said they're assisting a dozen people displaced by this fire. There will be several fundraisers in the next couple of days. Every bit of community donation helps. Gretchen LaRosa, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester Fire Department doing their job despite a tough couple of days by knocking down a fire quickly downtown. Late this afternoon, Worcester Fire received calls of smoke coming from the Midtown Mall on Front Street. The building was evacuated and multiple engines responded. Worcester Fire says they believe it was electrical. The fire was under control within an hour. A Paxton man is arraigned on new charges today. He is accused of attacking his family with a hammer and killing his younger brother. He is now being charged with murder. Our Chandler Walsh was in court today. She has the details.
Alexander Asia is charged with the murder of his younger brother, Innocent Asia. New court documents reveal autopsy results showing the Paxton man died from blunt force trauma to his head, allegedly from a hammer.
I hope he'll be brought to justice. He deserves to be brought to justice.
Police responded to the Asia family home on Monticello Drive after a 911 call. They say when they arrived, Alexander was washing up in the bathroom and 23-year-old Innocent was unresponsive and bloody.
For this neighborhood, it's really shocking.
According to court documents, the 24-year-old admitted to striking his brother and mother Letitia Asia in the head with a hammer multiple times. His mother suffered severe injuries and was taken to a local hospital.
It's alleged on December 2nd that he attacked and killed his brother in their home.
Asia's attorney says he's lived in the home for about 4 years.
So he has very strong ties to the community.
Neighbor Bob Fantelli passes the Asia home on his daily walks. He says he noticed something had started to seem different with the family.
2 young ladies that were college age that would sometimes come out in their cars. I hadn't seen them for maybe a couple of months, and I just got the feeling something was different in there.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Now Asia is being held without bail on the murder charge. His case will continue in late January. We now know the name of a 19-year-old Leominster woman who was killed in a hit-and-run on I-190 in West Boylston. State police say Maryland Pamela Reyes crashed off the side of the highway early Sunday morning. They say Reyes got out of her car and walked onto the interstate. She was hit by a vehicle, and police say the driver kept going. She was struck again by a second vehicle. That driver did stop. State police are still working to find the first driver. Today, the trial begins for a man accused of murdering an armored truck guard in Worcester nearly 30 years ago. Prosecutors say 82-year-old Ralph Demasi killed Edward Morlock during an armed robbery back in 1991. Prosecutors say 52-year-old Morlock was carrying bags of money from a Shaw supermarket when he was gunned down. Demasi was first indicted in 2016. He pled not guilty. Switching gears now, gas prices are down another 2 cents this week. AAA Northeast says the average cost for a gallon of gas in Massachusetts is $2.62, which is 20 cents higher than the nation's average. 1 year ago, the average price in Massachusetts was 13 cents lower at $2.49. AAA says the drop in pump prices couldn't come at a better time, with millions of Americans planning on holiday road trips.